My name is Lieutenant Evan Sutton, and I live the Coast Guard lifestyle.
Devastating damage expected. Hurricane Katrina. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks. All gabled roofs will fail, leaving those homes severely damaged or destroyed. Partial to complete wall and roof failure is expected. All wood-framed low-rising apartment buildings will be destroyed. All windows will blow out. Persons, pets, and livestock exposed to the winds will face certain death if struck. Power outages will last for weeks, as most power poles will be down and transformers destroyed. Water shortages will make human suffering incredible by modern standards. Livestock left exposed to the winds will be killed. Once tropical storm and hurricane force winds on set, do not venture outside.
There are only so many slots in the Coast Guard for you, and that's determined by Congress. So,
What units have you been at since OCS?
So after OCS, I went to Sector Mobile, Alabama, at their Incident Management Division. So that was a first for me. Never been in the Southeast United States. Definitely, it was a tough tour, honestly. It's kind of weird being uprooted from your community, I suppose, or, I was a West Coaster all my life. So it's kind of weird being uprooted and dropped into a completely different, group of folk. But it's healthy and it's good. Looking back, I appreciate it. It definitely expanded my, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is it opened me up to a lot of different ways of thinking, different ways of life, different people that I would not have otherwise seen, which I think makes me a better citizen at the end of the day because it's easier to relate to folk. You know what I mean?
How did you like the food down there?
Oh my God, the food was incredible.
What was your job?
So, Incident Management Division, basically as an ensign in a JG, your job is to be a sponge. So basically I learned as much as I could, but specifically my primary job was to be a pollution responder and a federal on-scene coordinator's representative.
So what about after Mobile? What happened after Mobile?
So after Mobile, I went to Sector Key West. I went into their command center where I was a command duty officer. Basically coordinating search and rescue and law enforcement operations across the Florida Straits. That was a lot of fun.
What is your title as an officer? What are you?
So I'm a response officer. So for the Coast Guard, there are various groups of officers. So you've got prevention officers. They're like ship inspectors. They basically do all the marine safety missions of the Coast Guard. Mm-hmm. You've got response officers such as myself. We do all the search and rescue, law enforcement, and pollution response missions. You've, of course, got your aviators who are kind of working for the response side of the house.
They have good hair.
Oh, they've got great hair.
Yeah.
Mine's still pretty good. I think
you got nice hair.
Yeah, I think it's like qualification number one to be an aviator. That's why I'm going to be a drone pilot.
There you go. Okay.
Right? No, and then you've got your cuttermen, of course, who also kind of do the response missions. But a whole host of other missions unique to the cutter fleet.
And you're a response officer.
And I'm a response ashore officer. So my specialties are search and rescue and marine environmental response.
So how difficult is that to go to one job, you're a law enforcement person or search and rescue person, and you're in an operations center talking on the phone to someone that's out there running, grids in their small boat trying to find someone. And then the next unit, you're at the DRAT trying to deal with response equipment.
Yeah, it's challenging, but it's good challenging. Again, I think I don't like being stagnant. Bottom line, I was working at one of the busiest command centers in the Coast Guard, and it gets tiring after a little while. It's a stressful job. And again, we've all got different roles. It's stressful for the guys in the field. It's stressful for us up in the command center because we're running, at 10 different missions at once. We're not just doing that one thing. And those 10 missions are across a, 55,000 square nautical mile area. It's huge. So it gets tiring. But it's a lot of fun.
Do you have the choice, or whenever you put in your dream sheet, can you choose what type of a job that you do next? Can you get out of that search and rescue?
So it's actually encouraged. So the way it works being a response officer, Diversification is important. I'm actually encouraged to bounce between different specialties. So my first job was in the marine environmental response field. My second job was in the search and rescue field. So this is now my third job. I'm kind of going back to that marine environmental response, but I'm hoping to also push more into incident command system, as well as do my own thing with geographic information systems.
Okay.
I think this job will give me that flexibility.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about where you went after Key West. So start off there.
Right. So after Key West, I reported to Alaska, Juneau, Alaska, the District 17 Response Advisory Team. So that role, you're basically supposed to be overseeing, or rather helping, various incident management divisions throughout the district at the various sectors, as well as inspecting, for us specifically, inspecting equipment. So D17's DRAT is unique in that it has equipment staged throughout Alaska to help respond or augment oil spill response. We go around making sure that all that equipment is serviceable if there's ever a time for to be employed.
What rank were you in Key West?
I reported as lieutenant junior grade, and I promoted to a lieutenant, and then
in D17 you're a lieutenant, and do you think you'll make lieutenant commander before you transfer?
Hoping so. I seem to be checking the boxes.
The time frame is right, though.
Time frame is right. Yeah.
Okay.
Before I transfer, if I get picked up for it, let me say this: I'm eligible to be picked up for lieutenant commander during my tenure here at District 17.
Okay. What kind of future expectations or desires do you have for your career? Where do you want to go?
Right now, I'm getting my master's. I mentioned that before. I'm getting that in geospatial intelligence and remote sensing. So basically looking at things using satellites and drones, and then doing various analyses on them. A big tool in that is something called GIS, Geographic Information Systems. That's something the Coast Guard uses. So I hope to find the flexibility not only in this job, but in my next job.
To be an officer, to go into OCS, what education did you have to have?
So it varies. So because I was a civilian, I needed at least a bachelor's.
Okay.
I can't remember the work requirement. There might not have even been one. But obviously, the higher your education, the more work experience, the more marketable you are. That just translates across any sector. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Are you going to need any other education in order to succeed in the officer realm?
Oh, yeah. So
do you need it, or do you want it?
I think you need it. You should probably have a higher like a higher degree at 04. You don't necessarily need it, but you should probably have it.
What's a higher degree?
Well, we all have our bachelor's or associates, but let's say 98% of us have our bachelor's.
If a prior enlisted, I think, can do it with an associate's degree.
They can.
I think they can, unless they change the program.
With enough time in service, they can become an officer with an associate's.
So what point do you think that same person needs to have a bachelor degree in order to be able to compete with you?
I'd say certainly 04, because...
What's 04?
Lieutenant commander. Because the majority of folks they're competing against will have bachelors.
So is that to make 04, or is that to be in 04 and competing for 05?
I think it's to make. From the moment I'm an ensign, I'm being conditioned to be a sector commander or the CO of a ship or whatever, right?
Do you think prior enlisted people are conditioned to be the same? From what I've seen, I think what makes the most difference is how many years the person had as enlisted. If they have the amount of years left in their career that they can actually pursue that,
Yeah.
I think it makes a huge difference.
I look at 04 for like a lot of the priors, and that's about the time they pull chocks, because at that point they've done their 20 or they've done 25 and they're ready to get out. They're just done. But there's also your exceptions. I had a commander at Key West. He's a Mustang, meaning that he was enlisted for a little while, and then he became an officer, and now he's in 05, putting on hopefully 06 here soon, and who knows where he'll go? I don't know.
I think the type of person that is dedicated enough to get a bachelor's and then a master's degree has the ability to be able to learn leadership skill to manage.
Yeah.
not necessarily to accomplish a task. If you got somebody out there that needs to get a job done, I'm not going to choose a lieutenant or a lieutenant commander to go out there and run a team of 5 to get it done.
No.
But I do want that lieutenant commander to be between that team and either the district or the area to be able to relay the information in a manner in which that higher command communicates and understands.
Yeah.
So I personally feel, this is just my opinion, that having the ability to sit through getting those 2 degrees, bachelor's and master's degrees, gives you a certain mindset to be able to communicate in that manner.
Yeah.
So you're single,
Oh yeah.
you don't have a Coast Guard family, you don't have a military family. The family that you grew up with was a military family.
Yep.
Do you have any regrets, or does your family have any regrets of you joining the Coast Guard?
No regrets. 0 regrets. Now, that doesn't mean that it has not been difficult. It has been really hard. I've had family members die that I haven't seen in years, and that really sucks. Yeah, I mean, you miss holidays. You miss a lot. You know, I see my folks maybe once a year, and it's always hard. You know, it's hard coming back and just seeing how much things have changed. It's hard seeing your hometown change, your friends change. I've missed out on a lot.
Do they understand?
Oh yeah.
Whenever they see you?
No, everybody understands, especially them being military. They get it, and they're proud of me. You know, all of that. That's important. And that's motivating, and the job's motivating. The people are motivating. For every holiday that I've missed or difficult situation that I've been in, I know this sounds corny, but like, I've had really good units. I've had really good people around me that have helped pick me up, I guess. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like the places you've been and the units that you've been to, that the people there became part of your family?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really fun going through this like really stressful thing with a group of people. You get to know those people really well, and you're all bonded together over that really stressful thing. And even if you're not doing that really stressful thing at that moment, you still work together, you still live together, we're all going through the broader experience of being a Coastie, which has its ups, has its downs. So I think there's a lot of support. There's a huge support network, both organizationally, but I think more effectively and more importantly, person to person. You know?
What do you want to do after the Coast Guard, do you know?
After the Coast Guard, I'm looking at, I want to go back to science, basically. I really like the public service aspect.
Do you remember before you joined the Coast Guard that there was really no upward mobility?
Well, it'll be different though. Leaving the Coast Guard, I've got a whole new set of, I've got a whole new education, and I've got a whole new set of skills too.
Oh yeah?
Well, yeah.
So do you feel like the Coast Guard is going to benefit you in your career after the Coast Guard?
Absolutely. The Coast Guard, I've been able to get a master's degree and a ton of technical experience, and more importantly, a ton of, I guess, personal or management or leadership experience, I suppose. Just how to work with people, how to be effective in a team, how to communicate. You can't beat the experience, honestly.
Do you think you would have learned any of that stuff being in another job?
Maybe. I mean, there are other jobs that may teach you that, but I don't think you're going to find it as quickly, and I don't think you're going to find it to the same degree, if that makes sense. You do a really specific thing under really stressful circumstances that requires cohesiveness. And I think that this organization it's taught me that. And these are skills that I can translate anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's if I'm flipping burgers or if I'm going to go out and hopefully be a GIS analyst somewhere. It doesn't matter. Like, I'll carry these skills for life, and I'm thankful for that.
Do you know if you want to do a career, or if you just want to hit a point where you're ready to get out and then you get out? Do you know?
I don't feel pressured to do a career. I'm going to do it until it stops being fun. If that's 20 years, great. If that's next year, okay. Life's short. I want to make it as fun as possible. Like, we have been effectively prepared by this organization to do other things. Period.
I like the way you just said that.
That's what it is.
Because there's so many people that can't say that because they didn't capitalize on the opportunities to take the opportunity while you're in the Guard to effectively learn, train yourself, and everything else to be able to move on
Yeah.
is a huge part of being in the Coast Guard.
It's huge. We're given a ton of tools, and not everyone takes advantage of it, unfortunately. But things like, the post 9/11 tuition assistance, getting certifications just through the natural course of your job and prosecuting your actual specialty.
Mm-hmm.
That's experience. That's education. All that matters. You just got to find a way to leverage it and keep building on it. You can't be stagnant.
If there was a young person sitting there watching this and
Yeah.
they want to decide if they want to join a military or go to college or start their own small business, or they don't know what they want to do, they just know they need to do something after high school, what kind of advice would you give a young person that you're talking to?
I think it's important. No, I mean, pursue your interests. I mean, that's all I've ever been doing. I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to pursue your interests, and sometimes it's not safe. You know what I mean? Like it's risky. You might not be working a job that pays a lot, or you might have to work a job that you don't necessarily want that might get you someplace.
Would you advise someone to join the military to get to college? I mean,
Sorry,
you
but-
had parents that paid for yours, but would
Yeah,
you
I was a lucky
advise
fucker.
someone if
Yeah,
they
I think-
didn't have that?
So I think the Coast Guard specifically is a phenomenal tool to do that. Again, we've got a lot of programs that'll help get you there. Whether it's tuition assistance or the GI Bill, you can get financial aid, if not your entire degree paid for. Joining this organization, I mean, you get a ton out of it. Again, it's a ton of hands-on experience. It's a ton of interpersonal experience. It's just fun. Maybe as an 18-year-old kid, you don't know what you want to do when you grow up. I didn't. I went into the university thinking I wanted to do one thing, and I came out complete opposite end. I wanted to do graphic design, and I walked out with a marine science degree. How does that happen? And in between that, there was a lot of heartache and money spent. If you don't know what you want to do, or maybe you just want to get out and make a contribution to society immediately, which isn't to say this is the only way to make a contribution, but it's a damn good one. It's a great way to spend it. And on top of that, while you're doing this awesome thing, you're getting rewarded for it through experience, through education. And, even if it's just 4 years and you decide to get out, well, okay, that was a good 4 years. Thank you for serving. And you can go on and do the other thing that you want to do for the rest of your life because you've got it figured out. It's a pretty good way to go.
All right, so thank you for watching this episode of the Coast Guard Lifestyle with Lieutenant Evan Sutton. And remember, if you're at a recruiter's office, or if you're joining the Coast Guard, or even if you're just talking to a recruiter because of this video, make sure you mention the Coast Guard Lifestyle and Lieutenant Evan Sutton and let him get some recognition from the Coast Guard. And sir, thank you for all that you do for the Coast Guard and your selfless service for your country. Thank you.
Chief Howard, I appreciate it, honestly.